Imagine for a moment that wealth is not something you chase, but something that pulses within you, waiting to be awakened. That prosperity is not a distant destination, but an invisible current constantly flowing through every thought, every emotion, and every belief you hold. This is not a text about money. It is a journey into the very heart of the consciousness of abundance, inspired by the timeless teachings of Joseph Murphy, one of the greatest masters of the mind and the power of the subconscious. Through these words, you will discover that true wealth begins when you align yourself with the universal pulse, that creative vibration that moves galaxies, gives life to ideas, and responds unfailingly to the unwavering faith of those who know they are already prosperous within. Prepare to reprogram your mind, to leave scarcity behind, and to open the doors to a reality where abundance flows effortlessly. Because wealth is not created, it is awakened. And the time has come for you to feel in your own life the pulse of wealth. Life is circulation. Blood flows through your veins, carrying nourishment and oxygen to every cell. If the blood stops, the body falls ill. If it flows freely, the body thrives. This is the first great lesson. Everything that circulates lives, everything that stagnates dies. Money, much discussed and often misunderstood, is the blood of material life. It is not a cold object or a lifeless piece of paper. It is a torrent of energy, a symbol of vital exchange. It represents movement, circulation, life. When understood as flow, it fulfills its function and sustains existence. When condemned or hoarded in fear, it stagnates and creates financial illness. Most economic difficulties are nothing more than circulatory blockages in the mind. Just as a clot can block an artery, a thought of scarcity can block the flow of money. The idea that there is never enough, the fear of loss, the envy of others, these are toxins that prevent abundance from flowing naturally. And just as medicine seeks to cleanse the blood and restore circulation, the mental law seeks to purify thoughts to restore the flow of prosperity. I want you to understand from the start that your prosperity does not depend on luck or the external generosity of the world. It depends on the image you hold within. If you see money as evil, you will unconsciously reject it. If you fear it, you will push it away. But if you see it as spiritual blood that nourishes, and if you bless it, you will attract it in perfect circles of multiplication. Gratitude is the oxygen of this economic blood. Blood carries oxygen to keep the body alive. Gratitude carries vital energy to keep prosperity alive. Those who give thanks multiply. Those who complain cut circulation. That is why you must practice gratitude at all times, when receiving, giving, paying, or collecting. Every economic act should be infused with a deep thank you that oxygenates your subconscious. To begin this path, I want to give you a simple yet powerful visualization. Close your eyes and feel your heart. Imagine that instead of blood, it pumps a river of golden light. This river flows through your veins, down your hands, up to your mind, and expands into your surroundings. Visualize it flowing toward your business, your home, your relationships. Watch how everything it touches is illuminated and prospers. This current does not stop or run out, because its source is infinite. Repeat silently. The river is a golden current flowing in me and through me. Nothing stagnates, everything circulates, everything returns multiplied. By practicing this simple visualization daily, you will begin to feel that money is neither an enemy nor a burden, but an ally. You will stop living in fear of scarcity and start living in trust of the flow. You will discover that your life is a river, and as long as the river runs, you will never lack what you need. Dear reader, open your mind to this truth. You are the channel of the universal river of abundance. You are not destined to live in scarcity, but to flow in prosperity. In the pages to come, you will learn how to unblock your economic circulation, oxygenate it with gratitude, and allow the infinite torrent of the infinite itself to flow without obstacles through you. This is your moment. Life is already flowing. Join the river and let it carry you toward limitless abundance, prosperous blood. The circulation of abundance, based on Joseph Murphy. We've noticed that over 80% of people visiting our channel are not subscribed. You can support this project by pressing the subscribe button and liking the video. Thank you for inspiring us to keep creating more and better content for you. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1, The Pulse of Infinity. The entire universe pulsates. There is a secret rhythm, a heartbeat that never stops. It is the same rhythm that sustains the movement of the stars, the growth of trees, the breathing of the seas, and the circulation of your own blood. That pulse is the sign that life, with a capital L, never ceases, never stagnates, never halts. Here lies the first great revelation. Prosperity is a universal heartbeat, and money is the visible blood of this great cosmic heart. Every time you breathe, you inhale and exhale. No one thinks of holding their breath forever because they know life depends on flow. In the same way, every income that comes to you is an inhalation, and every expenditure you make is an exhalation. Money that enters is no more important than money that leaves. Both are part of the same cycle. What would happen if your lungs refused to release the air you inhale? You would suffocate. What happens when a person clings to money with fear of letting it go? They suffocate financially. The human heart beats incessantly, sending oxygen-rich blood to every corner of the body. If an artery becomes blocked, death threatens. Likewise, when the flow of money in your life is obstructed by thoughts of scarcity, fear, or greed, financial illness sets in. The universe is wise. It designed circulation to teach man that everything that flows lives, and everything that stagnates dies. An Irish farmer once told me, "Father Murphy, the field taught me that I cannot harvest where I do not sow, and I cannot sow if I do not release the seed from my hands." And as he spoke, he let grains fall onto the moist earth. He who hoards his grain for fear of losing it truly loses it, because it rots in the sack. But he who gives it with faith receives it multiplied in ears of wheat. That man understood the universal law better than many scholars. To give is to receive, because the cycle is one. When a bill leaves your hand, imagine it as a seed. You do not lose it, you plant it. And when it returns to you, imagine it as the fruit. The subconscious mind responds powerfully to these images. If you see spending as loss, you program yourself for poverty. If you see it as sowing, you program yourself for prosperity. Does the scripture not say, "As a man sows, so shall he reap"? This is not a moralizing phrase, but a mental and spiritual law. When you sow thoughts of abundance, you reap abundance. When you sow thoughts of lack, you reap lack. Your words are seeds, your attitude is a seed, your imagination is a seed. Now look within. In the center of your chest beats your physical heart, but beyond the flesh beats a spiritual heart. This heart does not pump blood, but invisible wealth. Ideas, opportunities, contacts, resources. I call it the golden heart of infinity. At this moment, close your eyes and visualize it. A radiant heart made of liquid gold, beating with serene strength. Each beat propels rivers of wealth to all areas of your life, your business, your family, your health, your relationships. Feel how, with each pulse, a golden wave expands from your chest and pours over your existence. Repeat silently, "My golden heart beats with the abundance of infinity." Every heartbeat is wealth. Every exhalation is prosperity. Everything circulates. Nothing is lacking. A merchant who attended my lectures in Los Angeles confessed that he used to live in constant anxiety. Every time he had to pay a supplier, he felt as if he were losing blood. "It was like my pocket was bleeding," he said. But when he began practicing this golden heart visualization, everything changed. He would process his accounts, imagining that he was sending vital blood to his financial body. Soon, new clients began to arrive, unexpected contracts appeared, and his business thrived like never before. What he once felt as bleeding, he now experienced as strengthening. The lesson is clear. Money is spiritual blood. Do not fear its outflow, because it guarantees its return. Do not condemn its departure, because it ensures its arrival. Your subconscious mind hears every emotion. If you spend in fear, you program scarcity. If you spend in gratitude, you program abundance. Think of a river. If someone tried to stop its course by building a wall, the water would seek other channels, flood or divert. But if it is allowed to flow freely, it irrigates the fields and multiplies life. Your finances are that river. Do not stop it with walls of fear. Let it flow with the certainty that it always returns in perfect circles. Today I give you this powerful exercise. Each morning, place your hand over your chest and feel your heart. As you listen to it beat, say calmly and with conviction, "This heartbeat is wealth, this pulse is prosperity. Infinity beats in me and I beat in infinity." Do this for 21 consecutive days, and you will see how the consciousness of flow replaces the anxiety of scarcity. You will notice money beginning to move in your life like never before. People who owe you will pay. New business or work opportunities will appear. Unexpected gifts will arrive. None of this is chance. Everything is the response of your subconscious, which, when instructed with clear images, obeys like a faithful servant. Do you want to live in abundance? Then synchronize your heart with the heartbeat of the universe. There is no other secret. The pulse of infinity is already within you. Make it conscious, and your life will be filled with the music of prosperity. Chapter 2. Golden Arteries and Veins of Light. The human body is woven with a marvelous network, veins and arteries that carry life to every corner. That blood does not remain still. It circulates, advances, transporting oxygen and nourishment. Where blood flows, there is health. Where it is interrupted, pain, illness, and death appear. The same is true for your prosperity. Money is not a lifeless object. It is living energy that requires circulation. The great circulatory system of your economy is your subconscious mind. Every thought, every belief, every word you utter leaves imprints in that system. If the imprint is one of abundance, the flow is free. If the imprint is fear or greed, mental clots appear, obstructing the passage of wealth. A doctor once told me, "I've seen patients die not for lack of heart, but because of a blockage in an artery. Likewise, I've seen men with great talents and opportunities fail, not for lack of ability, but because of the invisible obstruction of limiting beliefs. These mental clots, formed by thoughts of scarcity, stop the torrent of abundance that was already destined for them." The Bible states, "The life of the flesh is in the blood." If we apply this truth on a spiritual level, we can say, the life of your prosperity is in the circulation of your thoughts. A thought of fear is like a clot. A thought of guilt is like a poison. A thought of greed hardens the financial arteries. And just as medicine dissolves clots and clears arteries, so too does scientific prayer and conscious affirmation dissolve every mental blockage. I remember a businessman who came to me saying, "I'm blocked, doctor. I have clients, I have talent, but the money doesn't come in." I replied, "The blockage is not outside, it's inside. Your subconscious mind has filled with clots of fear. You keep repeating, 'There's not enough, it all goes away.' There's never enough." These phrases become barriers in your financial veins. I asked him to repeat each morning and night, calmly and with faith, "My mind flows, my money flows, my life flows." For weeks he practiced. At first his conscious mind resisted, like a patient who doesn't believe in medicine. But consistency is the key. The subconscious, like fertile soil, accepts what is sown with repetition and emotion. And so it happened. Within 2 months his business unlocked. Overdue payments began arriving, new partnerships opened, and he himself confessed that he no longer felt anxiety when discussing money. His circulation had been restored. Now imagine your own mind as a system of veins and arteries of golden light. Visualize the energy of money flowing through them, illuminating every path. If you perceive blockages, dark spots, imagine a current of divine light dissolving those obstructions. Make this visualization a daily habit. The image is powerful because the subconscious understands symbols and responds to what you show it with emotion. Money is not an enemy nor a cruel master. It is symbolic blood. If you condemn it, you block its passage. If you bless it, you accelerate its flow. A bill is as natural as a drop of blood. It fulfills its function, passing from hand to hand as blood passes from cell to cell. It does not belong to you to hoard, but to use and keep moving. One day a woman came to me crying because she had inherited a considerable sum, but she felt guilty using it. "It's my parents' money and I fear spending it," she said. I explained that this guilt was a clot. Her parents had worked and circulated money throughout their lives. Her inheritance was blood that needed to keep flowing, not rot in a bank. I invited her to repeat, "This money flows in love, this money flows in blessing, this money flows in peace." She practiced, and little by little she began investing wisely, donating joyfully, enjoying without fear. She herself said, "It was as if I had a bandage on my chest before, and now I breathe again." The guilt had been dissolved. You too can practice this spiritual medicine. Each time you feel fear when spending, each time greed or complaint arises, stop and declare strongly, My mind flows, my money flows, my life flows. This is the central formula of this chapter. Write it on a piece of paper. Place it in your wallet. Repeat it when paying bills, receiving your salary, or making any exchange. Repeat until your subconscious ingrains it as law, and you will see how the river of abundance clears every obstacle. Do you not wish for your life to be like a healthy body, where blood circulates without interruption? So must your economy flow. No more clots of fear, no more veins blocked by guilt, no more arteries hardened by greed. Your mind is now a network of veins of light and arteries of gold, through which the infinite wealth of the universe flows freely. Exercise it right now. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize a golden torrent flowing inside you. See it carrying away all fear, all guilt, all notions of limitation. Feel that you are a pure channel, and as you do, declare clearly, "My mind flows, my money flows, my life flows." Repeat, insist, sow this truth until the harvest is evident in your affairs. Because when the golden arteries and veins of light are free, nothing can prevent wealth from running to you and through you in circles of eternal multiplication. Chapter 3. The Oxygen of Gratitude. The blood that flows through your veins is not just a red liquid. It is a powerful vehicle that carries oxygen to every cell. Without that oxygen, no cell can live, no organ can function, no tissue can thrive. Here lies the secret of gratitude. Gratitude is the oxygen of your prosperity. Just as blood without oxygen becomes poison, financial life without gratitude becomes stagnant and sick. You may have income, possessions, savings, but if you do not breathe gratitude, those resources lack life. They become dead weight. In contrast, those who are grateful transform little into much, insufficiency into abundance, the invisible into the visible. A man came to me with a complaint. "Nothing is enough, doctor. I earn little and I am always lacking." I asked, "Do you give thanks for what you already have?" He remained silent. He confessed that he spent his days comparing himself to others, complaining about his debts, condemning money as a scarce resource. I gave him a simple remedy. Each night before sleeping, he was to write in a notebook 10 things to be grateful for in the material realm, not imagined things, but what was present. The bread on his table, the bed he slept in, the clothes he wore, the coins still in his pocket. At first he did it reluctantly, but over the weeks something began to change. His tone became more joyful, his eyes brighter. He felt less tension around money. After 3 months, he received an unexpected promotion at work. He told me, "Now I understand. While I complained, I suffocated my prosperity. When I gave thanks, the oxygen returned." Doesn't Scripture say, "Give thanks in all things"? This is not a religious command. It is a psychological and spiritual law. Giving thanks in everything injects oxygen into every cell of your life. It is not a forced act, but a mental habit that turns the ordinary into the miraculous. Think of your economy as a living body. Every income is like a red blood cell carrying nourishment. But if that cell carries no gratitude, it arrives lifeless, without energy. You give it life with a simple word, thank you. When you receive your salary, say thank you. When you pay a bill, say thank you. When you find a coin on the street, say thank you. This act imprints the idea of abundance into your subconscious, and what is imprinted multiplies. A woman told me she lived in fear of losing her house. Her earnings barely covered the mortgage. She began practicing deliberate gratitude. Each time she made a payment, she would say, "Thank you because this money maintains my roof." Instead of lamenting, she expressed gratitude for the result. Soon, she received an unexpected inheritance and was able to pay off the debt completely. She summarized it. "Gratitude oxygenated my hope and attracted the solution. The subconscious is like a power plant. It responds to emotions. When you fill it with complaints, it shuts down. When you fill it with gratitude, it powers up. Complaint blocks the circulation of abundance. Gratitude multiplies it. Now I invite you to practice this powerful exercise. Each night, take a notebook and write 10 reasons to be grateful for the wealth already present in your life. They can be small: a roof, a glass of water, a friend who listens, a coin in your pocket. Write them calmly and feel them. Do not write hastily or mechanically. Breathe and let each word become oxygen for your subconscious. Do this for 30 consecutive days. By the end of this cycle, you will notice a change in your mental atmosphere. You will see opportunities you hadn't seen before. You will attract people willing to help you. You will receive financial surprises. Not because gratitude is magical in itself, but because it opens the arteries of your mind and allows the natural flow of abundance to reach you. Now imagine your life as a spiritual body. Visualize each area, your home, your work, your relationships, your projects, as organs that need oxygen, and see gratitude as the pure air traveling in the blood of your subconscious, oxygenating every corner. While imagining this, repeat silently, "I am grateful for everything. I breathe abundance. I live in prosperity." A young man who heard these teachings told me, "Doctor, I was embarrassed to give thanks for so little. I felt it was settling." I replied, "It is not settling, it is multiplication. The one who gives thanks for the small multiplies the small into great." And he proved it. He started by giving thanks for his bicycle, and a year later he had his first car. Remember this truth. Gratitude turns a drop into a river, a handful into a harvest, a seed into a forest. Do not wait to have much to be grateful. Give thanks now, and the abundance will come as a consequence. Make gratitude your daily breath. Let each morning your first word be thank you, and each night your last thought be thank you. In this way you will oxygenate your mind, your money, and your life. And just as blood carries oxygen to every cell, gratitude will bring prosperity to every detail of your existence. Chapter 4. Financial Unblocking. Just as the body suffers when an artery is blocked and the blood stops flowing freely, so too does a person's economic life falter when the circulation of money is interrupted by subconscious beliefs of scarcity. I call this condition financial blockage. Its symptoms are clear. Repeated debts that seem to multiply, unexpected expenses appearing like shadows, income that never seems enough, broken promises, and opportunities that vanish. Many look for the cause outside themselves, blaming luck, the government, competitors, or fate. But the root lies within. Every financial blockage is a faithful reflection of a scarcity idea engraved deep in the subconscious. There, in that creative reservoir, a person has planted phrases like, "It's never enough," "I'm always lacking," "Money disappears too quickly, I can never get ahead." These inner confessions become commands that the subconscious obeys to the letter, just as a heart responds to nervous impulses. A middle-aged businessman came to me during a time of despair. His words were a lament. "Doctor, I work hard, but I'm always trapped in debt. It seems money runs away from me." I asked, "What phrases do you repeat inside yourself?" He replied without hesitation, "I always say I don't have enough, that money is never enough, that I barely survive." I told him, "That is the seed you have sown, that is the command your subconscious executes. If you want different results, you must give new commands." I invited him to change his inner confession. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough," he was to calmly and confidently repeat, "My provision is infinite. The river of abundance flows through me and carries away every obstacle." For weeks he practiced this each morning upon waking, and each night before sleeping. At first, he admitted it felt strange, almost unreal, but consistency transforms the strange into the natural. Within a few months, he began noticing small changes. Old clients returned, business opportunities appeared, and he even received overdue payments he had thought were lost. A year later, his situation was completely different. He had paid off debts and spoke with joy about new projects. His financial unblocking was not luck. It was the result of reprogramming the subconscious. The subconscious is like a powerful river. If you block it with stones of fear, guilt, and condemnation, the water stagnates and smells of poverty. But if you remove the stones with prayers and affirmations, the river flows strongly, carrying away every obstacle. Isn't that what the prophet Isaiah says? "I will make rivers flow on the heights and springs in the valleys." That is the promise of the mental law. Where there was drought, the river begins to flow again. Now look at your life honestly. What hidden phrases sustain your debts? What inner confessions feed your unexpected expenses? "I can't" is a stone. "It's not enough" is a log blocking the course. But you are the master of the river. You can open it with your word. I propose a financial unblocking exercise. Close your eyes and visualize a wide, shining river trying to flow within you. See the stones, logs, and mud obstructing it. They are your thoughts of fear and scarcity. Now imagine a current of light carrying them away, clearing the riverbed. While visualizing, declare with faith, "The river of abundance flows through me and carries away every obstacle." Do this every night for 40 days, not as a mechanical prayer, but as a mental surgery. Feel each word as medicine cleansing your subconscious. You will gradually notice the symptoms of blockage disappear. Debts resolve, expenses stabilize, and income multiply. A woman who applied these teachings devotedly once told me she felt suffocated by loans and said money slipped through her fingers like water. She began repeating the river of abundance prayer. Within days, she was offered a better-paying job. A month later, she received assistance from a family member who had never shown interest. And most surprisingly, she learned to manage her expenses with calm, without anxiety. She summarized her experience in a powerful phrase, "When my mind opened, my life opened." Always remember this truth. Money is not the problem, thought is. There is no lack of resources in the universe. What exists is obstruction in the mind. By dissolving that obstruction, resources flow like clean blood through the arteries of the body. Make the financial unblocking prayer your own. Repeat it with faith, and soon you will testify as so many have. The river of abundance flows through me and carries away every obstacle. This river never dries up because its source is infinity itself. Chapter 5. Blood and Bread. The circulation of sustenance. Blood carries nourishment to every cell in the body. It delivers nutrients, vitamins, and strength. If blood stops circulating, the body weakens and dies. Similarly, money is the visible carrier of material sustenance. Bread, an eternal symbol in the scriptures, represents the provision that sustains humanity. "Give us this day our daily bread," says the ancient prayer. That bread is not just flour and water. It is everything that nourishes, protects, and sustains life. Blood and bread come together in a mystery. Both are symbols of life. Both are circulation. Blood spreads through the body. Bread spreads across the table. When you understand that every coin passing through your hands is shared bread, you begin to bless its movement instead of cursing it. A baker in New York once shared a secret that changed his business. For years, when he received bills, he saw them as mere pieces of paper that disappeared too quickly. One day, he heard a teaching on the spiritual circulation of money. He began imagining that each bill entering his cash register was a loaf of blessed bread. And when he gave change to his customers, he visualized that those bills were loaves returning multiplied. "Doctor," he said, "in 3 months my sales tripled. Before I saw the bills as paper slipping away. Now I see them as bread multiplying, and people come from everywhere." What happened was not an external miracle, but a change in his inner vision. The subconscious responded to the new image. The baker transformed his cash register into an altar where every exchange became a blessing. You can do the same. Every time you receive money, imagine it as bread nourishing your life. Every time you give money, imagine it as bread nourishing the lives of others. Visualize fresh, golden, fragrant loaves and silently repeat, "This bread circulates, this bread returns, this bread multiplies." In the Bible, the miracle of the loaves and fishes reveals the same law. Jesus did not lament, "We do not have enough." He took the little they had, blessed it, and broke it. The blessing multiplied. Blessing is the key. Those who curse their money diminish it. Those who bless their money multiply it. I remember a single mother who came to me in distress. "Doctor, I barely have coins to feed my children." I said, "Don't say barely. See those coins as seeds of bread." I taught her to bless each coin, repeating, "This is bread that multiplies." She practiced faithfully. Soon she found a stable job and wrote to me, "Now I understand. When I cursed, I closed the oven of life. When I blessed, the oven lit up." Practical exercise. When you have bills in your hand, close your eyes and imagine them transforming into loaves of bread. Picture giving them away and soon receiving baskets full in return. Do this whenever you pay a bill or receive income. Your subconscious will begin to associate money with abundant provision, not loss. Blood distributes nourishment to the body. Money distributes bread to the world. Every coin that circulates fulfills its function of sustaining life. Therefore, never think that money leaves. Think that money circulates like bread that nourishes and returns as abundant harvest. Do you want to test it? Try it this week. Every time you give money, declare, "This bread returns multiplied," and observe how new opportunities for sustenance appear. Not because it is a spell, but because your subconscious, trained with images of bread and blessing, becomes a magnet for abundance. The baker multiplied his sales because he transformed his vision. You will multiply your prosperity when you transform yours. Stop seeing bills as pieces of paper that escape and begin seeing them as loaves that multiply. This is the spiritual science of the circulation of sustenance. And always remember, every coin is bread, every bread is life, and every life flourishes when you bless it. Chapter 6. The purification of the inner river. The blood in your body can become contaminated with toxins. When this happens, the entire organism suffers. Energy declines, organs fail, and life gradually fades. The same is true of your economy. When your thoughts are filled with hatred, envy, or complaints, your financial blood becomes poisoned. Income dwindles, expenses multiply, and prosperity disappears. Money is an inner river that needs to flow cleanly. If you pollute it with negative emotions, that river becomes murky and stops fertilizing your fields. Constant complaining is like pouring mud into the water. Hatred of money is like throwing poison. Envy is a corrosive substance that slowly eats away the riverbanks. Soon you discover that the river meant to bring abundance has turned into a swamp of scarcity. A young businessman confessed to me, "Doctor, every time someone prospers, I feel rage. I think they are stealing my share." I answered, "That thought is a toxin. There is not a single, limited source of prosperity. There is an infinite ocean. The rage you feel does not harm your neighbor, it harms you. It is like drinking poison expecting someone else to die." I invited him to practice spiritual dialysis, a deep mental cleansing through repeated affirmations with faith. Just as a patient with kidney disease connects to a machine that extracts impurities from the blood, you can connect your mind to the infinite source that dissolves every toxin of hatred, envy, or complaint. It is a simple and powerful spiritual procedure. Do it this way. Close your eyes and visualize your mind as a river. Observe areas that are cloudy, dark patches, currents of resentment or complaint. Imagine a white and golden light descending over that river. This light is the divine presence, acting as a perfect filter. While you visualize, calmly repeat, "Every mental toxin dissolves now. My inner river flows pure, clean, and abundant." A man who applied this technique shared his experience. "Doctor, I hated money. I said it was dirty, that it corrupted, but by practicing spiritual dialysis every night, I began to feel peace when thinking of it. I stopped condemning it and started seeing it as a tool for good." The surprising thing was that as soon as he changed his vision, opportunities he had never seen before began to appear. It was as if life had been waiting for him all along. The Bible declares, "God saw the waters, and behold, they were good." If the Creator saw that the waters were good, why would you call the waters of money bad? The evil is not in the water, but in the impurities that man introduces with his mind. Those who live complaining poison their prosperity. Complaint is an acid that corrodes the inner river. An employee who said every day, "I get too little," was only reinforcing his own poverty. When I taught him to say, "My provision is abundant and grows every day," his situation began to improve. His salary increased, and he even discovered new sources of income. Remember, what you condemn, you repel. What you bless, you attract. If you hate money, do not expect it to love you. If you resent those who prosper, you are closing your own river. If you complain, you are creating puddles of misery. Apply this cleansing formula today. I am pure in thought, clean in feeling, free in my inner river. Money flows in me like crystal clear water, bringing life, peace, and abundance. Repeat this prayer whenever envy arises, complaint knocks at your door, or resentment clouds your mind. Do not do it just once. Repeat it as often as necessary until your subconscious accepts this new truth. I saw a woman transform herself through this exercise. She said she hated paying bills and did so cursing. She thought every payment left her empty. I taught her to purify that act with the cleansing prayer. From then on, every time she paid, she said, "Thank you. This money circulates clean and returns multiplied." Her words changed her inner atmosphere. Soon she received an unexpected promotion and was able to save for the first time in years. You can do the same. Connect your mind to the divine filter of gratitude and blessing. Allow the infinite light to wash every corner of your subconscious. Let the river flow clean, and you will see your economy flourish like a field irrigated by crystal clear waters. Remember, a contaminated river gives no life, but a clean river can turn a desert into a garden. Purify your inner river, and you will see that abundance has always been there. waiting for you to remove the toxin so it can flow freely. Chapter 7. The joyful heart fills the pockets. A cheerful heart beautifies the face, says the ancient proverb. This phrase contains a truth that transcends the physical and penetrates the spiritual. The face reflects the health of the soul, and a joyful soul is a magnet that attracts prosperity. I have seen with my own eyes men and women who were sunk in complaint and sadness, surrounded by debts and limitations, and who, by adopting joy as a daily attitude, began to experience a radical transformation in their finances. The universe responds to the tone of your heart. If your heart beats with fear, the universe reflects fear. If it beats with anxiety, the universe returns anxiety. But if it beats with joy, the universe responds with multiplication. Why? Because joy is the natural vibration of life. Seeds sprout with delight. Rivers flow with song. Birds sing in freedom. All of creation celebrates existence. When you choose joy, you align yourself with that cosmic melody, and all good things come to you. Here is a real case. A woman who attended my lectures confessed that she lived in an atmosphere of gloom. Her husband had died, debts plagued her, and she felt she had no strength to continue. One night, listening to one of my talks, she heard these words, "Your song is your medicine, your joy is your wealth." She took it seriously. She decided to sing every morning, even when she didn't feel like it. She invented simple hymns of prosperity. I prosper, I bless, I receive wealth. She sang in the kitchen, in the yard, on the way to work. After a few weeks, her appearance changed. She stopped crying at night. Her house, previously filled with oppressive silence, began to resonate with joyful melodies. And the surprising thing was what followed. She received an unexpected inheritance from a distant relative, and at the same time, a friend invited her to participate in a business that generated steady income. She told me herself, "When I started singing, I felt something in me open. It was as if money had been waiting for me to smile before entering." This demonstrates a law. Joy opens the door to prosperity. Sadness is a lock, joy is the key. Look at the blood in your body. When it circulates freely, it nourishes and renews. But when it thickens from tension and bitterness, life deteriorates. Laughter, smiling, and singing relieve the tension of the body and the soul. A joyful heart cleans the arteries of your inner economy. A businessman from California came to see me with a serious expression. "I have worked tirelessly, doctor, and I feel money eludes me." I observed him and said, "Your face reflects the weight of your thoughts. Money does not enter a dark house, it seeks light and joy. Your duty is to regain your smile." At first he resisted. "I can't laugh with so many problems," he said. I replied, "Precisely because you have problems, you must laugh. Laughter is not a consequence of wealth. It is the cause." I invited him to practice a simple exercise. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to deliberate laughter, even if at first it felt forced. I told him, "While laughing, imagine coins dancing around your body like golden butterflies. Do it like a child who plays. Don't worry about feeling silly. Worry about not opening your heart to abundance." He practiced for a month. When he returned, he was unrecognizable. Relaxed face, lively gaze. He told me he had received 2 unexpected contracts, and for the first time in years, had surplus money. His conclusion was clear: laughing opened doors that effort alone could never open. Here is the lesson. Joy fills the pockets. Not because money has a sense of humor, but because joy raises your vibration, clears your mind of fear, and creates a subconscious magnet that attracts prosperity. Doesn't Scripture say, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones"? That medicine is not only for physical health, but also for economic health. The man who laments dries up his income source. The man who smiles multiplies his opportunities. I want you today to adopt a powerful habit. Each day, find a moment to laugh. Don't wait for something external to trigger it. Laugh as a spiritual act, as a joyful prayer. While doing so, visualize golden coins spinning around you, entering your pockets, filling your home. Say silently, "My joyful heart attracts abundance. My pockets fill because I am filled with delight." If you practice this with faith, you will see tangible results. I have received letters from people who, by adopting this exercise, found jobs, closed sales, and resolved debts. The explanation is simple. Joy opens the subconscious mind to new images of prosperity. and this obedient mind creates corresponding circumstances. Let me tell you the parable of two sowers. One sowed with sadness, cursing the soil and complaining about the weather. The other sowed with joy, singing as he cast the seeds. Who harvested more? Both sowed the same number of seeds, but the one who sowed with joy saw his field flourish with vigor, while the other reaped a poor harvest. Why? Because the earth, like the subconscious, responds to the vibration with which it is sown. Similarly, when you handle money with sadness or fear, you sow in dry soil. When you handle it with joy and blessing, you sow in fertile ground. Joy is invisible fertilizer. Make a commitment right now. Smile when paying your bills. Laugh when receiving your salary. Sing while you work. Do it not as a ritual, but as someone lighting a lamp to attract a butterfly. Abundance, like a butterfly, seeks light, not darkness. Remember, wealth cannot tolerate complaint, but it is drawn to joy. Before closing this chapter, practice a brief ritual. Stand, close your eyes, and laugh softly, even if you have no reason. Imagine that each laugh releases a stream of golden coins dancing around you. Feel your pockets fill, your home light up, your table covered with bread. Do this for 5 minutes each day, and you will see that the proverb is true. A joyful heart beautifies the face and fills the pockets. Chapter 8, the law of exhalation, give to receive. Life is sustained by a perfect rhythm. You inhale and exhale. If you tried to hold your breath, you would soon suffocate. The body requires you to release in order to receive again. This same principle governs the circulation of money. Giving is exhaling, receiving is inhaling. Both are part of the same cycle. Trying to receive without giving is as impossible as trying to live without exhaling. Holding back in fear stops the breath of your economic life. All of nature confirms this law. The tree gives its fruit. In doing so, it ensures the seed for future harvests. The river gives its waters to the sea, and in that same giving, it receives the rain that renews it. The sun gives its light and is not impoverished. On the contrary, its giving makes it a center of life. Everything that flows lives. Everything that stagnates dies. A merchant came to me with a dilemma. I work hard, doctor, but my income never seems to prosper. I earn, but it slips through my hands. I can't retain anything. I asked, "Do you give?" He replied, "I can't give because I have no surplus." I explained, "Precisely because you don't give, you have no surplus. You are suffocating the circulation. Just as a lung that only inhales without exhaling collapses, so does your economy collapse when you try to receive without giving." I encouraged him to practice a symbolic act of circulation, to set aside 10% of every income, not as an obligation, but as an acknowledgement of life's law. This tithe was to be directed toward something noble, helping someone, supporting a cause, blessing someone in need. The key was not the amount, but the faith with which he did it. At first he hesitated, but he obeyed. After a month he told me, "I began giving that 10%, and the incredible thing is that I lacked nothing. Even more, contracts appeared that I had never dreamed of." Over time, this man closed international deals and his wealth grew. He confessed, "I learned that what I give circulates, and in perfect circles, returns multiplied to me." This phrase is the formula of this chapter. What I give circulates, and in perfect circles, returns multiplied to me. Giving does not impoverish, it enriches. Water that is retained stagnates, and water that flows is renewed. Money that you hoard in fear becomes scarcity. Money that you share in faith returns multiplied. Scripture affirms, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap." This is a spiritual and mathematical law. Those who give in faith receive multiplied. Those who hoard in fear lose even what they have. I know the case of a woman who was obsessed with saving every last cent. She did not spend, did not share, did not help. She said, "I must protect what is mine, or I will lose it." And she did, precisely because of fear. A sudden illness forced her to spend more on medical care than she had ever saved. When she came to see me, I said, "Your savings suffocated because you never let them circulate. Learn to exhale and life will give you fresh air." She began to share small amounts with gratitude, and gradually her economy stabilized. The fear of giving is fear of living. Just as a dead man no longer breathes, a miser no longer circulates. But the one who gives lives lightly breathes deeply, and attracts opportunities. Today, I want you to practice a conscious act of economic exhalation. The amount does not matter. Give something with faith and blessing. It could be a coin to a child, a meal to the hungry, or help to a neighbor. As you do it, repeat silently, "What I give circulates and in perfect circles returns multiplied to me." Do not give with fear, do not give out of obligation. Give with joy, for joy is the fragrance that makes abundance bloom. Remember, you are not the source of money, you are the channel. If the channel is blocked, the water stagnates. If the channel is open, the water flows abundantly. One day an elderly farmer told me, "Father Murphy, I always set aside the first part of my harvest to give away, and I can assure you that I have never lacked bread on my table." That man, without knowing theories, understood the universal law better than many scholars. His heart knew that giving ensures the next harvest. Make economic exhalation a habit. Exhale money in acts of blessing, and you will inhale money in acts of provision. Exhale love in your payments, and you will inhale love in your income. Exhale faith in your deeds, and you will inhale faith in your results. Always remember, fear suffocates, faith breathes. Do not retain out of fear. Give with confidence, for life is a great lung that breathes with you. And if you breathe in harmony with the law of circulation, your pockets will never be empty. Chapter 9. Mental transfusion, injecting wealthy ideas. In medicine, when a patient's blood is sick or depleted, doctors resort to a transfusion. That fresh, vigorous blood, full of oxygen and nutrients, restores strength to the weakened body. What medicine does for the body, you can do for your mind. Just as blood can become unhealthy, the mind can fill with sick thoughts, poverty, fear, lack, limitation. And just as blood can be renewed through a transfusion, the mind can be renewed with wealthy ideas. Your subconscious is like the spiritual marrow of your life. It produces images, beliefs, and feelings that then circulate through your experiences. If that marrow produces impoverished thoughts, everything that manifests in your life will be scarcity. But if you introduce prosperous, vigorous, and healthy thoughts, the circulation of your prosperity is completely renewed. I remember the case of a young man who came to me in despair. He had failed in business, was deep in debt, and constantly repeated, "I'm finished. There's no way out." That phrase was the contaminated blood of his mind. I said to him, "If you are given new blood, your body lives. If you are given new thoughts, your life prospers." I gave him a simple formula. Each night before going to sleep, he was to repeat slowly, "My subconscious is an infinite bank. I deposit ideas of wealth and receive harvests of abundance." I told him not to say it like a parrot, but with emotion, with faith, as if he were handing a check to his bank, knowing it would be cashed. Additionally, he was to visualize a needle of golden light gently entering his mind, injecting thoughts of prosperity. Each night I said, "Do your mental transfusion. Do it until your subconscious begins to produce new wealth instead of poverty." After 3 months, his demeanor had changed. He no longer spoke of ruin, but of possibilities. Soon he was invited to participate in a business project, and in time, he restored his financial situation. He told me excitedly, "Doctor, that transfusion of ideas saved me. I discovered that my ruin was not in the bank or in business, but in my thoughts. I changed the blood of my mind, and life returned financial health to me." This is how the law works. Your mind creates the invisible blood of your circumstances. If your mind is poisoned with thoughts of defeat, your life bleeds misery. If your mind is renewed with ideas of abundance, your life circulates prosperity. I want you to do the mental transfusion exercise now. Tonight, before sleeping, follow these steps. Sit calmly and take 3 deep breaths. Imagine a needle of golden light descending gently onto your forehead. See the needle connect with your subconscious mind and begin injecting thoughts of wealth. Visualize your mental blood lighting up, your inner veins filling with liquid gold circulating through your entire being. As you do this, repeat in a calm voice, "My subconscious is an infinite bank. I deposit ideas of wealth and receive harvests of abundance." By repeating this each night just before sleep, you plant the seed at the most fertile time, because the subconscious opens during sleep and receives each image as truth. A student of mine applied this technique. He told me that before sleeping, he always thought about his debts. He dreamed of collectors with red numbers, but when he began the mental transfusion, something changed. His dreams became luminous. He saw himself counting bills, signing contracts, and soon opportunities began to arrive. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination. It responds to the most constant, vivid impression. This is why the nightly mental transfusion is so powerful. What you inject before sleep is processed all night and manifests by day. The Bible declares, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you." This is the spiritual transfusion. God, life, is always ready to give you new blood, new thoughts, new images, if you only allow it. Make this practice a habit. Whenever your thoughts darken, your mood declines, or scarcity dominates your mind, apply the transfusion of wealthy ideas. Visualize the golden needle injecting abundance and repeat the infinite bank formula. Remember, poverty is old blood. Prosperity is new blood. The first poisons, the second invigorates. You choose which transfusion you will receive. Do not tire of practicing. As in medicine, one transfusion alone does not heal completely. Consistency is required. 1, 2, 3 weeks of practice, and soon you will feel the difference. Your formerly anemic mind will become vigorous. Your previously weak emotions will strengthen. Your formerly sick finances will regain health. Proclaim now, "My mind receives a transfusion of abundance. My subconscious fills with wealthy ideas. My life circulates unlimited prosperity." Observe how little by little your outer world aligns with the new blood flowing within you. Chapter 10. The Hemoglobin of Faith. In the human body, hemoglobin performs an essential function. It transports oxygen to every cell, every organ, every tissue. Without hemoglobin, blood becomes useless. It circulates, but it does not nourish. The body may have veins and a beating heart, but if hemoglobin fails, life slowly fades. The same is true for prosperity. You can have money circulating, work diligently, and make budgets and calculations, but if you lack faith, all of that becomes inert. Without spiritual oxygen, incapable of multiplying. Money without faith is dead paper. Money with faith is a living seed that germinates. I have seen wealthy men ruin themselves for lack of faith, and I have seen poor men prosper because faith sustained them. It is not the amount in your pocket that matters, but the substance in your mind. Faith is the hemoglobin of wealth. A young man attending my lectures would constantly say, "I'm poor, I have no luck. Nothing works for me." Looking at him, I realized his spiritual blood lacked oxygen. I taught him to declare with certainty, "I am prosperous." Then I asked him to repeat it with conviction, not as a wish, but as a present affirmation. At first he spoke with doubt, but gradually the conviction grew within him. Within weeks, he received a job offer he had not sought, and months later began to save for the first time in his life. He confessed to me, "Doctor, the opportunity was always there, but I was blind because of my lack of faith. When I said I am prosperous now, my eyes opened. This is how the law works. What you affirm with faith becomes an image, and what you imagine with faith becomes reality. That is why I present the formula of this chapter. Faith plus image equals prosperity. Faith is the oxygen, the image is the seed, and prosperity is the harvest. Without faith, the image withers. With faith, the image flourishes. Remember the biblical story of Abraham. God said, "Look at the stars, that will be your descendants." That was an image, but what made it alive was faith. Abraham believed, and his faith was counted as righteousness. Likewise, when you look at your inner life and envision wealth, you must accompany that vision with faith, and then your subconscious will take it as an order. A woman in Los Angeles came to me distressed. "I work, doctor, but I never get ahead. It's as if life blocks my prosperity." I asked, "What do you tell yourself each morning?" She replied, "I always say, I hope today goes better." I said, "There lies your error. The word hope is spiritual anemia. You need hemoglobin of faith." I taught her to replace "I hope" with "I am." I asked her to repeat, "I am prosperous now." At first she resisted, but she practiced faithfully. After 3 months, she came to me in tears of joy. "Doctor, I was promoted at work and received an unexpected inheritance. Now I understand that faith transformed my words into wealth." Here is a simple yet powerful exercise. Each morning before starting your work, place your hand on your chest and feel your heart. Declare in a firm voice, "I am prosperous now. Wealth flows through me. Abundance surrounds me." Visualize each cell in your body receiving that oxygen of faith as luminous energy. By doing this, you are not tricking your mind. You are nourishing it with spiritual oxygen. You are transfusing faith into your subconscious, which does not question but obeys. I have received hundreds of letters from people who applied this formula and witnessed financial miracles. One merchant wrote, "I went from bankruptcy to abundance because I began repeating with faith that I was already prosperous. Today, my businesses thrive like never before." Another testimony said, "I always lived waiting for the next paycheck, fearful it wouldn't arrive. But when I declared with faith that I was already wealthy, I discovered that life responded with constant surprises. Do you want to try it too? Practice for 21 days. Repeat with faith, 'I am prosperous now.' Visualize your life as already abundant. If your conscious mind says, 'It's not true,' ignore it. Your subconscious obeys faith, not doubt. Remember, faith is not waiting, it is possessing. It is not future, it is present. It is not illusion, it is substance. Let your faith be the hemoglobin of your prosperity. Let it transport oxygen to every corner of your financial life. Let every word of abundance be imbued with conviction, and you will see money come alive and multiply. Proclaim with me, 'My spiritual blood is full of faith. My faith carries abundance to every area of my life. I am prosperous now. Prosperity is my natural state.' Make this proclamation your daily breath, and your outer world will align with your inner truth. Faith plus image equals prosperity. Chapter 11, Wealth as Spiritual Blood Pressure. The human body teaches us profound laws. Observe your blood. It is not enough for it simply to exist. It must circulate with the proper pressure. If the pressure is too low, the body weakens. If it is too high, the body is damaged. Balance is the key. The same happens in financial life. Some suffer from economic hypertension. They live in constant scarcity, barely surviving, without energy to grow or expand. Others suffer from economic hypertension. They become obsessed with accumulation, clutch every coin with fear, and their greed ends up destroying relationships, health, and peace. In both extremes, life becomes unhealthy. Wealth needs an orderly flow, a rhythmic and balanced heartbeat, neither poverty nor greed, but serene and harmonious prosperity. I once knew a businessman who embodied these extremes. In times of plenty, he spent without measure, as if the spring would never run dry. In times of crisis, he became rigid, miserly, unable to let go of a single coin, full of fear. He lived in peaks and valleys without peace. His spiritual blood pressure was unbalanced. I explained to him, "Your problem is not money, it is your rhythm. You have no steady pulse. The heart beats in order. It neither speeds up nor stops capriciously. You must learn to manage with prayer, to give and receive in a sacred rhythm." I suggested he design a simple budget, not based on fear, but on trust. Each week he would sit in silence, pray, and decide with serenity how his money would flow, how much to save, how much to spend, how much to give. That prayer became his compass, and in time he stabilized his business and, even more importantly, his spirit. He confessed to me, "Now I feel that my economy beats like a healthy heart. I neither lack nor have excess anxiety. I live in peace with my resources." The scriptures declare, "To everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." The circulation of wealth also has its time. It has its measure. You cannot spend as if there were no tomorrow, nor can you hoard as if tomorrow were a threat. Your duty is to maintain proper pressure, a balanced rhythm. Now practice this powerful exercise. Sit in calm and close your eyes. Visualize your heart beating, rhythmic and serene. Imagine each heartbeat corresponds to a movement of money in your life, a spending made with joy, an income received with gratitude. Observe how everything flows in harmony, spending and receiving, giving and getting, inhaling and exhaling. Declare, "My wealth beats in perfect balance. Each expenditure and each income are part of a perfect rhythm." If you practice this exercise daily, your subconscious will learn to live in balance. You will no longer rush with fear or freeze in anxiety. You will learn to live in the serene flow of abundance. A couple wrote to me in gratitude after applying this teaching. "We lived in debt because we spent uncontrollably. Then, out of fear, we swung to the opposite extreme, hoarding everything, yet nothing was enough. By practicing the visualization of a balanced heart, we found peace. We created a simple prayer-guided budget. Today, we are not only debt-free, but also save and share without anxiety. Our financial pressure is normalized. Always remember, wealth is like blood. It should neither flow too slowly nor too quickly. It must beat with balance. Make your economic life a healthy heart. Do not seek peaks of emotion by spending without measure, nor fall into the anguish of hoarding with fear. Live in an orderly, grateful, and trusting flow. Every coin that leaves you and every coin that enters you are beats of the same heart. Proclaim now, wealth beats in my perfect rhythm. I do not live in scarcity or greed. I live in balanced, orderly, and serene prosperity. And just as a doctor celebrates when blood pressure normalizes, you will celebrate when you discover that your financial life has found the perfect rhythm of the infinite. Chapter 12, The Infinite Torrent. The river that flows never dies. Running water stays fresh, clear, and alive. Only when it stagnates does it become a puddle, a swamp. In the same way, true prosperity is not a fixed deposit or a chest buried in the ground. It is a torrent that never ceases. It is unending abundance flowing from the infinite source to anyone who opens themselves as a channel. Look at your own blood. It does not accumulate in one place and remain there. It circulates endlessly, nourishing, cleansing, renewing. If it stopped, death would follow. The Creator placed this living reminder within you. Everything that is life circulates, and everything that stagnates dies. Money, as a symbol of material life, is no exception to this law. It is not about hoarding out of fear or spending compulsively, but about maintaining a constant flow that ensures renewal and multiplication. The Bible speaks of a river that springs from the throne of God and flows toward eternal life. That river neither dries up nor is interrupted. It is a symbol of the spiritual torrent that never ends. When you align your mind with this truth, you understand that you are not a closed cistern, but an open channel. You are not a limited owner of a few coins, but a conduit for the infinite ocean. Many men and women live believing that wealth is a small well they must guard with fear. They see money as a static deposit that disappears forever if spent, and so they live in anxiety, counting coins, condemning expenses, envying others. That vision impoverishes them because the subconscious obeys the idea of limitation. The person who believes in a closed reservoir lives in fear. The one who recognizes themselves as a channel of an unending torrent lives in peace. They know that even when they give, they always receive. Even when they exhale, they always inhale. Even when they sow, they always harvest. Trust in the infinite river frees them from fear, and that freedom opens the door to greater provisions. I once knew an engineer who complained constantly, "I work hard, but I feel my money is like a glass that empties quickly. It never fills, it never lasts." I replied, "That glass is your mental image. As long as you see your prosperity as a limited vessel, you will live emptying it. Change your image. Stop seeing yourself as a glass. Begin to see yourself as a river. A river never fears being empty because it is always fed by its source." I taught him an affirmation. I am the perfect channel of the river of infinite abundance. Nothing is lacking. Everything flows. Everything returns multiplied. I asked him to repeat it daily, accompanied by a visualization. Imagine himself as a golden river flowing without interruption, irrigating fields, filling lakes, nourishing cities, and always renewing itself. Months later, he wrote to me, "Doctor, my life changed. I stopped fearing expenses. I stopped feeling poor even when I had no money in my pocket. I began living with the certainty that the source never dries, and surprisingly, new business opportunities appeared. Today, I have income I never would have dreamed of." This demonstrates that wealth is not a matter of external circumstances, but of internal images. The person who sees themselves as a limited cistern becomes exhausted. The one who sees themselves as an infinite torrent prospers. Have you noticed how rivers fertilize everything they touch? Where a river passes, there are trees, fruits, flowers. Where it does not pass, there is desert. Your economic life can be a river or a desert, depending on the image you hold in your mind. If you see scarcity, you live in a desert. If you see a torrent, you live in fertility. Do not fear when money leaves your hands. Do not see it as loss. It is water that circulates and, in doing so, ensures its return. Imagine each payment as a branch of the river running to irrigate a field, knowing that those waters will return multiplied. Anxiety arises when you forget the source, but when you remember that your supply is infinite, fear disappears. A woman confessed to me, "I always felt that if I gave, I would run out, and I lived in fear, clinging to every penny until I heard your words and began to see myself as a river. I began giving with joy and discovered there was always more. It was as if the river had been waiting for me to release an inner dam. Do this exercise now. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine a river of golden light born above, flowing toward you and through your entire being. Feel it running through your veins, your mind, your pockets, your home. Visualize everything you touch being fertilized by this current. Declare firmly, I am the perfect channel of the river of infinite abundance. Nothing is lacking. Everything flows. Everything returns multiplied. Make this affirmation your daily confession. Write it, repeat it, feel it. What the subconscious receives as a clear image and intense emotion, it reproduces as reality. Prosperity is not a puddle, not a glass that empties, not a chest that locks. Prosperity is a torrent, an inexhaustible, eternal, unceasing torrent. Do not cling to the past, nor fear the future. Live in the present of the river that always flows. Remember, the river does not hoard. It circulates. It does not fear. It moves forward. It does not stagnate. It runs. Make your life a reflection of that river. Live as an open channel, and you will see that nothing is lacking. Everything flows, everything returns multiplied. Thus concludes this journey from the initial heartbeat to the final torrent. We have seen that blood and money are symbols of the same principle. Circulation is life. Stagnation is death. Today you have been revealed as a river, not a well, a channel, not a cistern. Declare with confidence, I am the perfect channel of the river of infinite abundance. Nothing is lacking. Everything flows. Everything returns multiplied. And let this truth flow within you as an eternal torrent until your entire life becomes a garden irrigated by the waters of the infinite.